Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Sorry for the late upload, but children. It's been a crazy day here today. Oh my gosh, has it been crazy? So grab your coffee, maybe a snack or two. I've been dishing out snacks all day. I still have some peanut butter resin on my hands. I can't get it off. Help. And let's get into it, okay? So this video might be a little bit longer than they normally are, okay? Because we do have a lot to talk about. So anyway, this subscriber, she went to Petco to pick up some crystal cat litter because she can't use regular cat litter because her cat has chronic bronchitis, so she can't use like regular cat litter, right? And she went and she got an 8-pound bag, and it's called So Fresh, okay? And on the shelf it says $15.99. Well, when she went to go pay for it, it rang up for $23.49, and I'm like, wait a minute, it says $15.99 on the shelf. So this is continuing, and it's not just food, okay? It's other products that we're using every single day. So the manager went over to the, to my subscriber, and she had to give her the price that it says on the shelf. So the manager leaves and she discounts the sale and she hands me the receipt and she says, next time you buy this, you need to be prepared to pay the register price. Oh, excuse me? Well, maybe if you actually changed what the prices actually is and put it on the shelf, people would be more prepared and not have a shock value of paying nearly $8-9 more when they're going up to the register. People are on, budgets here. Okay, they expect to pay one price, and then when they go up to the register, not expect to pay a different price, which is much higher. What's wrong with these stores? And this was at Petco. So she said, I didn't say anything to her, but you can imagine what I was thinking. You've got to be kidding me. So she went and she checked on the website for the same product as the $17.99, regularly $22.99. What the? All I can say is watch the prices, just like you've been telling us. Yeah, the website and the receipt pics are attached. Okay, so here, so you could see what she was talking about, and she actually put her receipt on there. Price override. Oh, because you're doing such a favor. Maybe if you did your jobs. Just saying. Okay, so I have been experiencing this. You guys have been experiencing this. Am I a robot? Am I a robot? Pick all the pictures that there's steps or there's a locomotive or there's a car or a fire hydrant. I'm like, I'm not shopping on Walmart's website anymore. I am so done. I'm so done with it, right? So she went through this and she's like, I logged into my Stop and Shop ad to upload digital coupons as I always do. And for the first time, a box popped up asking to verify that I'm human. I am a meat popsicle. I swear. It's like, come on. This is ridiculous. When I clicked to verify, another box popped up and asked me to slide a puzzle piece into place. After I completed the task, I was allowed to proceed to add my coupons. How odd is that? I've attached the pictures. Are they now tracking our coupon usage? We already have limits on them. Yeah, when I was shopping on Walmart because I wanted to pick up extra things for the kids, like they like their what are those called? The pizza rolls and things like that. Limit two, limit two, limit two, and I'm like, limit two on pizza rolls? Really, guys? Come on! I've got a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old. Limit two. All right. So yeah, and then, pick all the pictures with the fire hydrants. No, I'm not picking fire hydrants. Okay, so you guys know to always go to the description box below, right, for all the good links of articles that I talk about in videos. There's also links for preps that I buy. Okay, things that you can buy at really good prices. There's also links to small businesses that are owned by people in our community and stuff like that. Okay. So here's one for you. I don't know if you heard about this yet. Israel, okay, their central bank, they're adding the yuan, okay, YUAN, to its reserve holdings for the first time ever. Okay. And previously, the bank only held the US dollar, the euro, and the British pound. Okay. And according to the IMF, the dollar share of the total global currency reserve has fallen to its lowest point in over 2 decades. So that is something to be concerned about. Okay. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. All right. Now, I swear, there's just so much going on that it's literally, it's unbearable anymore. It really truly is. All right. So on to this. Okay. You all know Janet Yellen. I refer to her as Yellen the felon, but I'll go on. Coffee. You can never get through the day, can you? Anyway, Yellen, okay, she's calling for a reshaping of the global supply chains that are not secure. Oh, so that's how we're referring to them now, huh? They're not secure. Okay. Yeah. It's a little bit more detailed than that, Janet. So she said on Thursday that the global supply chains have proved to be unstable amid the pandemic and the WAR between R and U, right? And she's calling for a reshaping of trade relationships oriented around trusted partners, even if it meant higher costs for businesses and consumers. So you're going to raise the prices on us again because it's not high enough, is it, for us? Now, because you can afford it, but the rest of us, who cares? Yeah. So she spoke at a news conference during the spring meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, where policymakers around the world have been discussing how to revive economic growth and combat inflation while keeping pressure on the big R, right? And the Treasury Secretary said that protectionism or taxing imports more was not the answer, but that the economic benefits of the world's network of supply chains were not worth the risk of a reliance of adversaries. This woman, if she only knew, if she only lived, I want these people to live how we live on the amount of money that we bring in every single month, just so they could see what it's really like to live on a budget. But they never will. They'll never see how we see life every single day. So, of course, this is not going to affect, they don't care. It, in my honest opinion, they should not be able to make decisions for us, for citizens. They should not be able to make decisions because they don't know what it's like to live or walk in our shoes. They don't know what it's like to have to make those decisions to either eat or pay a bill. So until they know what it's like to make that decision, they should not be able to make decisions for us. Does that make sense? So she goes on to say, our supply chains are not secure and they're not resilient. She thinks that that's something in long term risk to the U.S. and to other countries. That's a threat that needs to be addressed. She also added that trusted trading blocks would need to be big enough to avoid amplifying inflation while ensuring that supply chains were secure. This woman, I'll put in the screenshots, okay, of the entire article. If you want to pause so you can read, go right ahead. But I can't because I'm going to get very upset because this woman should not be able to speak on our behalf. And neither should any politician, in my opinion, at all, ever, until they are in our shoes, living in our homes, and knowing what it's like to live our lives every single day. But that's just me. And I like to live a positive life. What about you? Hmm? Okay, so on to this. All right. The cyber division of the top U.S. law enforcement agency issued a notice to private industry earlier this week, pointing to a growing number of ransomware attacks on farming co-ops throughout the I love you, autumn harvest in 2021 and the earlier months of 2022. And the notice said that ransomware actors may be more likely to attack agricultural cooperatives during critical planting and harvest seasons, disrupting operations, causing financial loss, and negatively impacting the food supply chain, adding that such breaches could affect the planting season by disrupting the supply of seeds and fertilizer. Okay, I don't think it's so much as the cyber attacks, it's more like fire. Okay, but that's just my opinion because we're seeing a lot of fire and things, catching fire and, headquarters and food distribution centers and things like that just mysteriously into the night, just, catching. I'll shut up. I'll shut up and I'll just continue reading. Yeah, because, no conspiracy here ever. So the UK government has also warned that the food supply organizations are in the sights of malicious actors in cyberspace as well. Okay, so the Bureau went on to cite several recent cases, including a month long period late last year in which six major grain cooperatives were hit with a variety of ransomware attacks, as well as multi-state grain company, which experienced a similar hack in March. It noted that the widespread effects such attacks could have on the global food supply, given the importance of grain for both people and livestock. A significant disruption of grain production could impact the entire food chain, since grain is not only consumed by humans but also animals for their animal feed. And in addition, a significant disruption of grain and corn production could impact commodities trading and stocks. Now, ransomware, okay, if I'm sure you know what ransomware is, but it's a form of malicious software used to encrypt and block access to a victim's data until a ransom, you know, is paid to the hackers attackers, whatever you want to call them, who is often threatened to publish or destroy files if no payment is made, right? Now, the FBI, their warning comes amid concerns of food shortages in some regions due to the ongoing conflict. You know which conflict I'm referring to, right on. And major agricultural exporter. Now, the big R went, which sent troops into neighboring state earlier this year, is also a significant exporter of wheat and other staple crops, with the two nations commonly described as regional breadbaskets, and you know which ones I'm talking about. A flurry of Western economic sanctions on Moscow is likely to worsen the problem. Moreover, as a growing number of banking and financial restrictions, great new barriers of world trade. Okay, so that link is also in the description box below. All right, you know to always go to the description box below. All right, so now on to this. We've been talking a lot about Walmart, the closures, things like that. So listen to this. The Walmart in Forest Park, okay, in Ohio. This Walmart is 20 minutes away from a subscriber of mine. It's 20 minutes away from her house. She said it's closed. She said she was never inside it. It's a really bad area. One of her clients went there on a weekday morning. She pulls into a parking space, and there's an elderly woman, now listen to this, laying down in a parking space. A guy watched her load her car. As soon as she put her key into the ignition, he opened her door, threw her out of the car. He took off in the car with her purse on the passenger seat and all of her purchases. The thief had an accident about 5 minutes away from the scene and wrecked the woman's car. Obviously, he was arrested. The woman was fine physically, but she's shaken up. They closed this store because of too much theft and people starting to go to other Walmart stores in the surrounding areas. Okay, so this is just a look into why there's certain Walmarts that are closing down. Okay, so now on to this. A subscriber and her husband, they went to Costco, all right, last night to pick up a couple of things, and she said it was really bizarre. They were fully stocked on every aisle at eye level. And then all the rafters above were full to the ceiling. It hasn't been that way in a really long time. Canned food expiration dates are about 2 years out. It was bizarre because we kept expecting supplies to decline, and this looked like a store prior to like 2 years ago. That is really strange. But you know what they say, the calm before the storm, right on. So now this subscriber was in a Walmart neighborhood market, you know, one of those where it's just food, okay? And she was there yesterday, and she said she was looking to see what they didn't have. An employee with some papers in her hand walked up to another employee and handed them to her. She said, "What? More recalls?" They noticed me looking at them, and they quickly walked away. So get ready for more recalls out of Walmart or any other store. Okay? So, because it's more recalls, but you know what these recalls really are, okay? They're not for our benefit. They're really not. They're really not. All right? So, on to this. The subscriber says, "I swear, I'm not one of those super preppy girls, but that say, oh my God, all the time, but oh my God." At my local Walmart in Utah, an older gentleman was two people in line in front of me. He didn't have very much stuff that he was buying. Now, not that I care how much other people are buying, but it helps paint the picture. And the cashier scans his dog food, which is a bag of dry dog food that he was holding in the air for the cashier to scan. The cashier scans it, and the register makes a really peculiar noise. She says his item limit has been reached. This again with the item limits. The older gentleman is then frustrated because he obviously needs the dog food to feed his dog. He asks when this limit started here. The cashier avoids his question, and then the lady behind him starts to become frustrated too, because she also wants to know. As I walked over to the next cashier, the two people in front of me were still asking about the limit. I wish I had the time to stay and see how it continued to play out, but I had to get home and feed the kids dinner. This was today. I have never seen that happen anywhere near here before. I'm still a little shocked. It was a 150 item limit, in case I didn't mention it before. And yes, I do shop other places around here too. So now it's no longer a 150 item limit, because if this guy didn't have obviously 150 items, the limit is much, much smaller now. And that's obvious. Wow. Holy cow. So this subscriber, she got a hold of me talking more about Walmart, okay? She said, I still talk to employees that I worked with. The makeup face cream section is locked up. They have a cashier there. It's a hell of a maze to deal with. They're doing this because of theft. Store closures not profitable enough means high theft. Those businesses are in high crime areas why they're closing. A friend told me because people can steal, no laws one day, all businesses will be warehouses and we have to order online. There could be a day we won't be able to enter a store thanks to lawlessness. They have to change with the times we're in. They can't operate being robbed all the time, sad to say. Out of dates, again, is about not being properly rotated due to either lack of staff or mismanagement. It's not intentional. You haven't replied. What? Wow. That's unbelievable. It's not intentional. Well, hey, listen, it is what it is. Thank you for sending that in. No kidding. All right, guys, that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fearless.